In this conversation, I want to take you deep inside the mindset of the Bangladeshi voter. What do ordinary citizens actually want from politics right now? Is it security? Is it a relief from skyrocketing prices? Or is it something more fundamental? A cry for dignity, justice, and qualified leadership. A recent survey, the People's Election Pulse, gives us some striking answers. Let's unpack what this means for the future of Bangladesh. If you stop 10 people on the street today and ask them, what is your biggest concern? The answer comes back in one line: survival. And inside that word, survival, are many layers. Fear of crime, unease on the way home at night, gang violence near schools, the rising cost of medicine, shrinking groceries in the kitchen bag, and the constant burden of bribes, sometimes open, often silent. The survey results reflect this reality. Over 57% of respondents now say law and order is their number one priority. Just 6 months ago, inflation and price hikes topped the list. Today, controlling prices has slipped to second place, but it hasn't disappeared. It's like living between two fires: the fear of insecurity on one side and the burn of household expenses on the other. Politically, the survey reveals another strong signal on the question of most suitable party and most likely government. The BNP comes out ahead, but perhaps the more notable story is the rise of Jamaat, especially among younger voters. This suggests what we might call a generation's unease. Years of frustration, lack of representation, economic stress, and social breakdown have pushed young people to search for an alternative. The real question is, what kind of vision does this alternative offer? Does it protect civic freedoms, minority rights, gender equality, and social coexistence? Or are we heading toward yet another political experiment built on youth anger and discontent? The same survey shows something else worth noting. Voters today care less about party symbols or manifestos and more about candidate competency. About 65% of respondents said, I want to see who the candidate is and what they can actually deliver. This, in my view, is a sign of maturity in public opinion. The old magic of slogans and symbols is wearing thin. People now want clear answers. What will you do? How will you do it? And when will you deliver? For political parties, this is both a serious challenge and a tremendous opportunity to bring competent people to the front, to restore internal democracy, and to shut down the corrupt ticket-selling market. Of course, we cannot avoid talking about the Awami League here. In the dissatisfaction index, their name stands at the top. Nearly half of respondents even said they don't want to see the party return to power without facing justice first. This is not just political opposition, it's a deeper crisis of social legitimacy. No matter how many statistics of development are presented, if people feel justice is absent, if they feel unsafe in daily life, then they will dismiss those numbers with a laugh. That is the reality the party and politics as a whole must confront. Why has law and order climbed to the very top of public concern? There are several reasons. First, daily exposure to crime and disorder, drugs, teenage gangs, muggings, land grabbing, and violent politics. Second, the crisis of justice. People openly say that without connections or money, cases don't move in the police or courts. Third, the polarization of administration. Police stations and land offices smell of transactions. And fourth, the vacuum in public safety, especially for women and children, where victims are often blamed instead of protected. The conclusion people draw is simple: fix law and order first, then we'll talk about the rest. That word first is dangerous for politics because when people are demanding the bare minimum for survival, lofty promises of mega projects or digital revolutions simply do not impress them anymore. Economics tells the same story. The grocery bag is lighter, but the bills are heavier. Healthcare, children's education, or rent, together these suffocate middle and lower middle class families. The psychological impact is clear: despair, uncertainty, and fear of the future. Politically, this often translates into either voter silence, which lowers turnout, or voter anger, which punishes incumbents. The fact that the number of people saying they will definitely vote has declined in this latest survey is therefore significant. Foreign policy adds another complex layer. A majority of respondents say they want good relations with India and Pakistan alike, but beneath that is a deep tension between trust and distrust. Border incidents, communal profiling, aggressive migration narratives, and electoral polarizations in the region, all of these ripple into Bangladesh's public mind. At the same time, Bangladesh continues to bear that heavy burden of the Rohingya crisis with little meaningful progress toward a lasting solution. Until that knot is untied, issues of border security, crime, and local economies will remain affected. So, what do we mean when we say the next government? Is it only a numbers game in parliament? Or is it about who can translate these survey messages into actual policies? From my perspective, there are 5 urgent tasks that any incoming government must put on the table from the day one. First, a practical law and order package. Depoliticize and hold accountable the police, court, prosecution triangle. Introduce proper investigation cadres, digital evidence management, and joint school community police programs for juvenile crime prevention. Just clear the backlog of cases, not only in big corruption or terrorism, but also in family disputes, women and children's cases, and small business conflicts. Second, restore order in the markets. Strengthen the Competition Commission to monitor cartels, adjust tariffs smartly, build district level buffer stocks, and digitize distribution through mobile booking to cut down black markets. Link farms directly to city logistics to stabilize both farmer income and consumer prices. Third, tackle corruption at the demand side. What hurts people daily is not just big corruption, but small bribes for passports, land services, electricity connections, or registration. Introduce zero in-person contact for the four services. Resolve complaints within 90 days and publish QR-based officer performance scores in public offices. Once these small fires are extinguished, people will feel the state is finally on their side. Fourth, address the youth agenda. Young people searching for alternatives do not want fairy tales. They want jobs, skills, safety, and voice. Create youth skill grounds in districts. Link vocational training with guaranteed internships. Provide small startup funds with governance checks. And ensure safe campuses in universities. More importantly, give youth a seat at the policy table, not just a place in rallies. Fifth, reform politics itself. If candidate selection remains a game of money, favoritism, and lobbying, voters will never get the competent leadership they demand. Begin with party primaries in major cities. Disclose party finances and require candidates to declare pending criminal cases. These steps alone will send a strong message. Within the first year, we are serious. That is when voters will start looking at candidates, not symbols. If the next government can walk even party along these 5 lines, then the twin fires of insecurity and inflation can slowly be controlled. Alongside this, foreign policy needs to be grounded in fairness and realism, mutual respect with India, regional cooperation focused on people's welfare, and a clear diplomatic roadmap for the Rohingya issue. International partners are willing to stand by Bangladesh's democratic transition, but the real trust has to be lead in people's homes, at the police station, in the marketplace, at the hospital counter, and outside the school gate. This survey has shown us something crystal clear. The people of Bangladesh have moved beyond the language of promises. They now want the language of delivery. If politics fails to lean this language, any victory will remain fragile. The upcoming elections is not just a rehearsal of power shifts. It is a test of trust, and we should never underestimate the people of Bangladesh. They have said it loudly: we want competent leaders, safe lives, and an honest state. Now it is politics' turn to prove that it truly deserves to govern.